is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
It is that time once again, yes, for another episode of the Celebrity Afterlife Report, the only show on the internet that gives you the up-to-the-moment gossip about all your favorite deceased celebs. The sun never sets on the next world celebrity scene, well, figuratively anyway. So my Afterlife paparazzi sources stay busy getting the latest scoops to me so I can report them to you. And with that folder all out of the way, let's say we get right to the action. As reported last week, LaVoy Finicum, one of the protestors who occupied an Oregon federal bird sanctuary, recently arrived in the next world. No sooner had the self-described patriot gotten there than he started asking about the governmental situation in the afterlife. He appeared quite pleased to find out there is no formal government there. Soon after, he was seen having secretive meetings in public places with several different shady-looking gentlemen. Now it seems we know a little bit more about what he's up to. Over the course of last year, we closely followed the story about the all-female town actress-singer Judy Garland was trying to build on the outskirts of one of the next world's larger cities. If you aren't familiar with that saga, I suggest you listen to some of the episodes of the report that chronicled it. Suffice it to say, the plan fell apart, and the town has been sitting mostly constructed, but uninhabited since then. Word is that Finicum and some of his new friends have been seen within the walls of the planned community, seemingly surveying the place. I'm informed by a source that there is now a Gadsden flag flying over the main entrance to the town. That is the famous Don't Tread on Me flag featuring a coiled snake. As you would imagine, there's a lot of speculation, but no solid evidence at this point that Finicum and company are planning on taking over the project and turning it into some sort of libertarian enclave. Reporters have approached him to ask about his plans, but Finicum is remaining tight-lipped, refusing to answer any questions at all. I have to tell you, I thought we had left the saga of that town behind at the end of 2015, but it looks as if there's life left in it yet. We shall see. As I told you on last week's report, it looked as if Merv Griffin and his TV talk show co-host Tammy Faye Bakker were going to give in and appear on baseball legend-turned-radio shock jock Babe Ruth's morning drive show to get Ruth to calm his horde of bambinos down. I predicted at the time that their appearance probably wouldn't be pretty. Given Ruth's penchant for abusing his guests and generally making an ass of himself, I really wasn't the most amazing prediction ever, but from what I'm told, he exceeded any and all expectations. According to sources who heard the show, Ruth started in even before Merv and Tammy arrived at his studio by saying he was going to, quote, make them pay, unquote, for having Osama bin Laden as a guest on their afternoon talk show. When the pair walked in, Ruth and his sidekicks greeted them by referring to Merv using a derogatory name for a gay man and calling Tammy Faye a drag queen. And from what I hear, it went downhill from there. Many in the audience were apparently wondering why Merv and Tammy Faye didn't just walk out, but one of my sources says he has inside information that the deal the two struck with Ruth required them to stay in the studio until Ruth gave them the okay to leave. Now, my sources also tell me that although Merv gamely attempted to defend his show's booking of bin Laden, Ruth and his bullies barely let he or Tammy Faye get a word in without interrupting them with insults. One source described listening to the onslaught as painful. Toward the end of the ordeal, Ruth sarcastically thanked the couple for being his guests and formally declared an end to the war between he and his fans and Merv and Tammy Faye's show, which I guess means they will be able to start production of it up again. A little over a week ago, Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man to walk on the moon, arrived in the afterlife. On hand to greet him were his fellow former astronauts Neil Armstrong and Alan Shepard. After his welcoming ceremony, the two took Mitchell off to the side and were heard to tell him that they intended to introduce him to Vince, referring to Vince McMahon Sr., father of the current CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, speculation naturally was that they were going to try to get him hired by the Shakespearean acting company that he runs and for which Armstrong works. Turns out, however, speculation was wrong. Sources are telling me that Mitchell has been recruited to perform in NASA on Ice, a skating show McMahon is producing on the side. Similar to the Ice Capades, the show is going to feature the history of America's manned space explorations performed on skates. Mitchell, I am told, has agreed to join the traveling company and will be prominently featured in the show once he learns how to ice skate, that is. Lastly for this week, a story where the speculation was correct. Just before recording this edition of the report, I got word that comedian Robin Williams and singer Amy Winehouse have tied the knot. As rumor had it, the two got married on Valentine's Day in front of a medium-sized crowd of friends and family. The couple tried very hard to keep the press and paparazzi away from the ceremony, going so far as to withhold the exact location of the wedding to anyone until the very last minute. Guests were told to go to one of several different staging areas where limos were waiting to take them to the beach where Williams and Winehouse got hitched. Robin wore a classic tuxedo, and Amy had on a white gown with a long train. Her hair was done up in her trademark beehive. I'm informed that the two looked radiant as they left to go on their honeymoon in an undisclosed location. Okay, that hits it on the head for this week. Please come back next week when I'll have more up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite deceased celebs. In the meantime, do me a solid by mentioning to your friends and family that the report is available for free on iTunes. I'm the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.